Hello, and welcome to the Code Zone stream. It's me, Tom. I'm joined by Ant. How you doing today? You all good?
I'm very, very good. How are you doing?
Yeah, yeah, I'm all right. Yeah, we tried to stream the other day, didn't we? And then we ran out of time, and your dog was unwell, and so many things happened that just
My
made
dog
it
was unwell
impossible.
and very expensive. Don't get animals
You could
into it.
say he's in the doghouse. Okay, that was terrible. I'm just gonna end the
I'm
stream with
gonna
that.
hang up. I'm gonna hang up.
Yeah, all right. Bye, Ant. I'm sorry. I'm
I was
sorry.
like,
I'm
oh, I
sorry. If
could
you
do this right now, but that's a bit that would go too far and just ruin the stream.
Anne, Anne, are you coming back? Anne. Yeah. So yeah, it's odd we're doing it on a Thursday, I know, but we're doing it all the same. We've managed to make time for it today, so we're gonna have a little look at it now. Gonna get cracking with it all. So I believe to start with, we have Ridian's game from last week. Oh, in fact, you know what? I will show off. I'll quickly let's just make sure everyone remembers what last week's game was because it is so long ago now, so long ago now. It is Railroaded from last week.
Good old railroaded.
How did everyone find it on the whole?
Good, good. I think the pre-prepared hack of the week was a very, very popular one this week,
The
and it
Steam
just looks
effect.
great. I think anything that involves a stream of clones that kind of give this kind of trail effect, it looks super cool.
Mm-hmm. I must admit, Steam effect. It's actually a little bit more complicated than you might think because you're trying to get clones to appear on top of clones, so it's a little bit funny. We can always come back and talk about that in a second.
You're fiddling with the layers as well.
Yes, there's layering stuff, but there's also clever use of switching between things within frames and then giving different costumes of different clones of the same sprite different behaviors depending on what their costume is and things like that.
Mm.
So if I play it real quick just to test it, you can see there's a lovely smoke effect on. Oh, I already got. Hang on, let's test that again. Lovely little smoke effect on the trains that you can see. I am terrible at the game, as you might also be able to see. There we go. Try one more time. There you go. Smoke effects on, like steam effects on the trains, and it's a little bit more complicated to do that than one might think, because you've got to get the clones of the steam going to the clones of the train and everything. It's all very odd. We can have a look at that in a second. So yes, that's the base game. That's the base game, and the steam effect in particular was the guided hack for everyone to have a little look at. So let's hop on over, and I believe we have Ridians here. Now, is this one from your club, one of your clubs, or is this one
Yes,
from
yes.
Awesome? Talk
Ridian,
me through it.
you might see that nifty little bit of code in the bottom right there. We have a jump. A jump is something we haven't actually done for quite a while in the hack clubs, and this was a wonderful opportunity to jump back on that. That was unintentional.
This stream has become
And
laden with awful puns already. We're going to have to end it.
mine was unintentional.
Sure it was. Sure.
And yeah, we had this wonderful code, fiddling around with that variable there, and it runs great.
I guess then, yeah, if jumping is true, you don't get touched by the trains.
Hmm.
So let's see if I can jump over a train. This feels like an epic stunt. I don't know if I'm gonna. Oh my goodness! I made it. What a. Let's see if I can do it. Oh my goodness! This is like hardcore. This is like Evel Knievel stuff right here. Which
And
is
speaking of layering, I seem to recall someone else tried this hack at some point in the week, and they had the smoke coming, the steam coming from the trains, and as you said, like something went awry. I was like, "What's going on here?" Oh, of course, it's the layering.
oh
They
look at
had
that.
to have a little making sure that the zone bot stayed on top while jumping.
That makes sense. With the train, they were disappearing behind the trains. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, yeah, because this is very clever. It's a matter of perspective, isn't it? You make the size of the zone bot change so it looks like it's getting bigger and it's getting closer to the camera because it's going up. but obviously it's not actually really. It's not changing. It's not getting close to the camera. We just create the illusion of that with the changing
Yeah,
size, don't we? And then yeah, layering
and
is obviously important because you don't want it behind the train because that obviously then breaks the illusion.
that's something very interesting. I think possibly for people like you and me who may have gone from 3D to 2D, whereas before we're actually moving objects above and around
Mhm.
things. Here, as you said, it's just illusion. It's a different way of thinking in a sense.
Yes,
It's
yeah,
like we're jumping, we are touching the train. It's technically getting hit by the train, so we have to
hmm
fiddle with some variables instead.
exactly. If we just did touching train, we would see here, even if I jump over, it's game over.
Yeah,
Exactly. That's one of the interesting thing about programming in 2D. Coding 2D games is trying to think like about the perspective and the images and sort of
mm.
the things like that, and working out how to trick your player, you know, trick your audience into
Yeah.
thinking it's kind of it's 3D and more believable and that sort of thing. So yeah, nice, awesome, 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 awesome. If you ever actually like, so I always, well, if you're ever playing something like Pokemon or I don't know, Stardew Valley or Legends of Zelda, like the old ones, obviously the old Legends of Zelda and the old
The
Pokemon's
classics.
actually, to be fair, they're all 3D now that I think about it, but they're all ones where like there's little tricks like that. I don't know if you ever played. Did you ever notice, like, in Pokemon games, there would be like little ridges, and you could jump down from them, but you couldn't jump up
Mm.
onto them. And it took me ages to work out what was going on as a kid, like, because obviously, like, on a little Game Boy or a DS, it wasn't always the clearest. And then there was one where
Yeah.
they updated the visuals of it, and I was like, oh, it's like a little cliff step up type
Little
thing, and you
hill,
can
yeah.
jump down. That's why I can't climb up. Makes sense now, and it finally clicked for me. But it's those sorts of tricks, convincing your players that they're actually in a different sort of, they're in a real 3D world and not just a flat image. Interesting, awesome, awesome, yeah.
Mm.
So that's a nice, that's a useful little trick your players into thinking they are actually successfully jumping. Awesome. Like, let's move on now. Whose is this? Is this Sydney's? Again, one of yours, Ant?
Yes, this is Sydney's. And this one is slightly strange.
Mm-hmm.
It's very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Slightly out of the ordinary. It might be worth hiding that sprite one. I'm not sure if that the green sprite one does anything. But
Okay.
in this game, you play as the Hulk.
The Hulk. Okay.
And the Hulk, and when you hit the space key, you Hulk out.
Has Sydney been watching? I've not got around to watching it yet. So if you've watched it, Ant, please don't spoil it for me. But has Sydney been watching She-Hulk? Maybe is that where it's come
I
from
don't
on
know.
Disney, or just a
We've
Hulk
had a lot
fan?
of Sydney Marvel based games recently. I've been watching She Hulk. It's great.
Cool.
Um, and yeah, we just love Marvel
Fair enough.
in mine and City's Hat Club. We love it.
That,
Good
no,
stuff.
fair enough. Fair enough. I am slowly but surely catching up. I've almost finished watching Ms. Marvel, which I am really
Mm.
enjoying. I think it's really good. It's actually really nice. I was pleasantly surprised. So I might catch up and eventually watch. I mean, Ms. Marvel finished like 3 months ago, so maybe I'll get to She-Hulk by Christmas. Um, I'm a little bit slow on TV shows at the moment. I need to watch Andor. I want to watch Star Wars. I need to watch Star Wars. I was asked the other day at a club if I've watched some Star Wars. In fact, we showed it last week. Stanley and Harvey, they always do Star Wars games, and they asked if I'd watched Andor yet, and I was like, no, I've not had a chance yet. Please, don't say anything. Don't say anything.
I don't think I can watch it. A prequel of a prequel.
Let's not go down that path because it's oh no, this headache.
We only have
No,
so much time for the stream.
no, 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 no. I'm not, because that's a pre. It's a prequel of a sequel to a prequel. Actually, because it's a sequel to the original. It's a sequel to the prequels,
It's technically a prequel to A New Hope.
but it's also a sequel to the prequels.
I mean, you're not wrong, but we'll move on.
Yep. Ah, this is the real thing that confuses us. Programming logic, fine. Naming logic,
Absolutely fine.
no. Right. Hulked out. So if I press spacebar, did you say I become? Oh
Mhm.
my goodness, the Hulk, and then do
And
I?
then
What do I want to do at
his
that point?
powers don't kick in, I'm afraid. But it was just a really cool effect of growing and hulking out.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Sydney is a very young, very cool coder,
Look at that.
and just seeing him put this like transformation in a game, I love it. I
I
think you
love
can
it.
also de-hulk, unhulk.
Yep. That is a really cool little. Look at that. That's believable. I really like that. I really, really like that. Maybe we could see if. I wonder if there's a game coming up. I'm trying to think if there's a game coming up where Sydney could use that Hulk effect again and sort of like explain like a character like bashing through walls or something. That sort of thing. I'm sure there'll be
I
something like
every
that
time I
coming up.
see a game in future, I'm gonna think, now where could the Hulk be useful here?
Just playing Stardew Valley, and you're like, where could I add the Hulk to Stardew Valley? How would the Hulk improve Mario Kart? Yeah, just playing Pokemon, add in the Hulk, and just set the Hulk on all your opponent's Pokemon. The Hulk versus Weedle. Just a little Magikarp versus the Hulk. There we go. That's the fight we all need. Magikarp versus the Hulk. Who wins?
So, by the way, I learned from our new mentor, Jazz, Magikarp is her favorite Pokemon.
Okay,
It's okay, Jazz. You're allowed to like bad Pokemon.
okay, cool, cool. I didn't know that. I did
Or
not I had not got round to that conversation yet. And Jazz, as far as I know, is a fairly big Pokemon fan, and she likes think all sorts of things like that. We'll definitely have her on the stream at some point. I'm sure we can drill down onto that question another time because I need to know more. I need to know more. You can't drop that and then I can't find out more. Let's talk to Jazz another time. Let's move on to a little bit more code. So jetpack geometry. Now I think this is Ollie's, who is one of Callum's Hacker Club members. So let's have a little look. So it's train still. So we're still on. What do you call? Oh, look at that. Even hang on. Before we go any further, options as to what types of controls you want.
we
Left
love
key,
that.
right key, A, D, W, up. What are those? Look at that. I love that.
We
I'm
love
gonna.
that.
Okay, let's see how I can do. Oh, see how I do. Okay. Oh, I see. So they're look, they're kind of fading in and out, and you've got to. I can move up. I press the up arrow key. I can move up, but then I start falling when I'm not pressing the up arrow key or the W key. In fact, I'm playing with W, S, and D. But look, there's so many more of them, and like, so there's gravity in here. There's gravity mechanics in here. They fade in and out after a few seconds, so they're no longer going to damage you. That is really, really clever. Look at that. I love sort of like geometric looking games like this. They look really cool, and the effect, the trail effect on the player as well. That's very, very
Yeah.
cool.
It just shows that really, really simple designs can look just fantastic.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah, yeah,
can make,
definitely.
as Ollie has done, you can make Scratch look just so good.
Yeah.
Like
Uh-huh.
a developer's made something in 2D in Unity
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
it's on the iStore. That kind of vibe.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Exactly, exactly. So like you've got breaking the code. So not only have we got the two different buttons you can use, like I love that. That's great. Like having multiple control schemes. It's a nice little feature. I think those are things which are awesome to consider, giving players that sort of choice. And I love this little effect here. So I don't know if this character's on the top layer, just for the moment. But if we send to the front, there we go. Like that's essentially. We'll just reset it to 100 and reset the ghost effect to 0. There we go. So we can see it there. When I click on this, you can see all it's doing is getting smaller, and the ghost effect, the transparency, is increasing. So it's shrinking down, disappearing. But when it's all used together in the game, like, it creates that little trail, which is really, really clever, because it keeps on creating clones of itself down here when we're jumping up. Very, very clever. Very, very clever. So you make a really cool little trail. I love little animations like that.
Yeah.
I love it. That is absolutely brilliant. And even a little start screen. A lovely little start screen. Awesome. Okay. Next
You love
game.
to see it.
Next project. This is Noah's, I believe.
I sent this one to you
I-
because I just saw it. I looked past it.
I'm not running it yet, but I feel like I've run the code.
Like, not much happens, but wow.
Is it? Yeah, that is an optical illusion, isn't it? The code's not running.
Yeah.
I went to a museum of optical illusions last year. It's up in the Lake District. That was good fun.
Oh.
It was but my head hurt by the end of it. I was like, nothing looked real anymore. I was walking down the stairs and I was like leaving the building and I was like, am I actually going up? Who knows?
Yeah, we had one in Edinburgh called Obscura,
Ah.
right on top of the hill. Weird and wonderful place. I'd recommend it to anyone. If you can go to one of these weird optical illusion museums, it's a great day out.
They're
It's
really good fun.
fantastic.
Really good fun. Everyone there was it was mostly kids at the museum I went to, and me and my partner were there, and we're just like, no one's gonna mind. We're just big kids. It's fine. We're like, yay, optical illusion museum, just as excited as all the kids. So what do you go on? Take advantage of this and hypnotize me into something. You've got me under. Oh, or is there subliminal messaging in here? Is Noah actually hypnotizing us?
I don't know, but it's just look at it.
I know. I'm kind of getting a little bit like dizzy. It's just. Ooh.
You will feature Ant in your next game.
Exactly.
You will make Ant the king of the next game.
Okay.
I need to work on my hypnotist voice. I
Yeah.
need that commanding presence.
Yeah, like you will add Tom into all of your games. Is that doing anything for you, Ant?
I thought you didn't want us to do that.
Oh yeah, I don't actually. Well, I don't mind. I don't mind.
Always been pushing for us to do that.
Hang on, I don't mind.
It's
I
too
don't
late.
mind.
You
I just.
put it onto the universe. That's what we want now.
Oh no. Okay. I don't mind. I don't mind. I just don't like. I'm not like, please put me in your games, because that seems weird to ask to be in everyone's
I'm
games.
like, please put Tom in your games.
I don't want to seem like I'm demanding.
It's very fun for us.
I know. It's gone down well in the past. It all started one of our annoyingly Ash can't make it to any of the club times anymore, so he's just doing. I don't think he's in any of the hack clubs at the moment. He's doing bits and bobs when he can on the side, but he used a picture of my face from our Facebook page for his golf ball in a crazy golf game, and then it kind of went from there. And it never ended. So yeah, if you want to put Ant in your games, put Ant in your games, and pull a quick funny face. There you go.
That's just my face. How about we both agree? Let's put Ash in all our games.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Let's get everyone to put Ash in all their games.
Okay. I'll get some pictures of Ash.
That sounds fair to you?
I'll ask him for a funny face. Take a picture, then I'll pass it on to you, and you can use it on all your hack clubs. Awesome.
Excellent.
Great. Awesome. Moving swiftly on. Now, this is Hetty's project. She is in one of our IRL clubs. This was her railroaded game, and it's been lovely rework. We've got a little swimming character, and we've got some whales instead of trains, but most important is she was lucky enough to grab one of the touchscreen laptops at the beginning of the session. We have a handful of touchscreen laptops. She ended up on one of those,
Ooh,
and she wanted to
fancy.
build in a joystick into the game. So we have this little joystick down here, which I believe should work. There you go. So you can move around with the joystick instead of with the arrow keys. Now it works a lot better when you've got a touchscreen instead of
Ooh.
using my mouse to do it. But our joystick is the thing controlling our movement.
Now, is this joystick from one of the Code Zone simulations? I
Uh,
feel like I've seen one there.
I don't think we've set one up for that. I think it was we had a little chat in the session, and she wanted a joystick, and we spent a little bit of time working out how we could make how we could make how we could basically get like the direction, work out a little sprite that has a direction thing when you click on it, and
Hmm.
then use that direction for the direction of the player if the mouse was
Okay.
down at all. That's how we went about doing it. But I don't think we've actually come around to making a little simulation like that, which we should do at some point. We should really do.
Maybe my memory's failing me because I could have sworn when I first started there was one, but maybe that's all in my head.
Maybe you came up with this and you're giving me credit unnecessarily.
I am very smart, Tom.
You are.
That sounds like me. I tied my shoe. I'm wearing Converse and I tied them up today.
You tied your own
Yeah,
laces. Well done.
yeah.
I'm so proud of you.
Not just laces, Converse laces, Tom.
I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. I
I'm
needed
so
that.
proud of you. Well, maybe Hetty. Everyone can use Hetty's joystick code here if they
Hmm.
want to use a joystick. Um, I was very impressed. We had a little chat, and she whipped it all together, and a lovely working joystick. If you've got a touchscreen and you happen to be playing a game like this, it's perfect for it. Perfect. Right, awesome. One final game, I reckon, and then we should probably wrap on up. One final game.
Yeah.
Row a boat. This is Pranav's, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes,
Oh
it
my
is.
goodness, there's a submarine already.
It's
Oh,
very difficult.
okay. So the trains have been replaced with submarines, and we can move backward and forward, and we can turn our boat. Okay. So we've just got to dodge the submarines. That's nice and easy, and they are
See, when
pretty
you're someone
fast.
like me or Tom who's been playing games for years,
Hmm.
who have been playing games for years, you go in with this confidence when you play the kids' games. You're like, I can last half an hour playing this game. I
Hmm.
just don't have time to.
Hmm.
And then you play Pranav's game, and it's a humbling experience.
Yeah, I had that in one of the I covered one of your hack clubs the other day, and there were I seem to remember Lauren made her game really nice and easy, and it was a very chill experience. And we can always have a little look at the balance sort of things next week. And then Yuvika made it really super hard, and I played one after the other, and it was quite a jarring experience. But it was interesting to see the different sort of balancing of it. And one of them was like a super easy version, and one of them was a super hard version.
Is that Lauren and Tristan, the power creative duo?
I don't. It wasn't Tristan who worked on that one. He was doing something else. He was working with bonus parcels and things. I seem to remember. But yeah, it was just interesting to see how two people took the same game and tweaked different numbers and tweaked different
Hmm.
parts of the balance and looked at experimented. I always say this to any tasters or anyone new who I have a little chat with. I always say like just change a number and see what happens. Like change some numbers, do weird things, crank numbers up really high and see what happens. Like change things. If it breaks, ask us. We can give you a hand to fix it, or just undo it, or whatever it might be. Experiment, explore, and that's how you get
Yeah.
games that are perfectly balanced in a really hard way, like this one, where there feels like a really good challenge with the speed and the controls and everything.
And I think
That's.
all things code, it's experimentation.
Mhm.
It's uh, and some of the new guys and girls, they will kind of worry about breaking things, as you said. but you're not going to learn unless you break it.
Mhm,
Unless you
mhm,
learn how to fix it when it's broken. That's
mhm,
how you learn. That's you're doing the right thing by doing the wrong thing. That's what's
mhm.
great about code.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. And you might see a like I remember this sort of thing with something like Unity. I'd look at something and I'd be like, that is a very complicated word. I do not understand it. You know what I mean? So I would turn like a number up really high within it, and then all of a sudden my character would just go flying off the screen. I'd be like, oh, so that thing does that. Now I know what it means. You know,
Yeah.
it's you crank the number up really high, it goes weird, and all of a sudden you have an idea of what it's impacting,
Mm.
and it's kind of
And
like reverse engineering.
and I really subscribe to the belief of if someone I've said this a few times to the coders, if someone for the first few weeks they build perfect code every single time and it always works, they're not really learning. But if it keeps breaking and they keep having to fix it and find out why it's broken, what's gone wrong, you are learning what each thing does as you fix it,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and that's brilliant.
And I know,
That's what you
like,
want.
exactly, exactly, and it's like so many. I'm sure so many people will say this, but like, I feel like we genuinely, genuinely mean it. Like, if something breaks, that's kind of a good thing. Like, things don't
Mm.
have to be perfect. You can learn from mistakes. You know, it just try something, and if it doesn't go right, oh well. You know, you live and you learn. Like that's how you discover something. That's how you discover how things work, especially in something like coding. Especially in something
Mm.
like coding. I say like in particular because there's rules, you know, and I know we all feel like there aren't sometimes rules, and you tweak something and then a bug comes up and you have no idea where that bug came from, sort of thing. But there are rules. Things should work the same way every time, more or less.
Yeah.
So if something works one way one time, you know it's going to work that way again the next time. So
Mhm.
that's why experimenting and testing and tweaking and changing numbers, it all really helps, and it is a really, really, really good way to discover what things do. I love just cranking a number up really high. It also shows you where the fun is, because all of a sudden you might realize that actually your game is actually one where it should be really, really weirdly fast paced instead of like a slow and methodical thing. You might discover that that's a really fun way to do it.
Yeah.
Like
An accidental creation through breaking games.
that
A
that
la Goat
happens.
Game.
Exactly, that happens all the time. That happens all the time. I've heard stories, you know, of devs doing that where they've gone and tested something and realized actually the fun way is to actually play it in slow motion or whatever. You know what I mean?
The infamous Gandhi bug that has now just kind of hung around because it's kind of fun. It's kind of
The
great.
the infamous Gandhi bug indeed. Anyway, I reckon that's about all we've got time for. We've got to get off and run some clubs. We'll be back next Tuesday. We'll try and do Tuesday. Might see if Jazz is around to explain her to I feel I don't want to sound too harsh, but justify Magikarp being her favorite Pokemon. Sounds too I mean, I don't want to sound too negative, but also, you know, I
Have
feel
I
like
thrown her in it? I might have thrown her in it.
there needs
Jazz,
to
if you
be
see this, I'm sorry.
I need an explanation. You know, that's all I'm asking for.
We got to fix this.
I'm not saying she's not allowed to have Magikarp as her favorite Pokemon. That is not what I'm saying at all. I just want to know. I'm just intrigued. You know.
You're allowed to like a bad Pokemon. That's your right.
Hey, you said that not me. You said that not me. You said that not me. But no,
Uh,
we can. Yeah, definitely, definitely, definitely. If we can, but we'll be back on Tuesday. We'll look at the current game that we are doing, which is Special Delivery. It is a drone-related,
yes.
drone flying project. Yeah, we'll have a little look at that. So we will see you all then. Thank you very. I lost the ability to speak there. Thank you very much for joining me, Ant. Thank you very much. Talk again soon, and goodbye.